Even though she knew there was glue on the chair, she sat down silently without a word. Even when her skirt got soaked, she didn't dare to complain, because not only did her classmates bully her, but her only older brother would also heartlessly torment her in the middle of the night. After enduring years of suffering, the girl finally gathered the courage to end her life. However, in the end, the railing saved her life. When she arrived at school, she found her shoe locker filled with blades and thumbtacks placed by others. Yet she still didn't dare to speak up, knowing she would likely face another beating in the bathroom if she did. She had long grown accustomed to this kind of life, but the pink-haired bully began to grow bored. She grabbed the girl's hair, dragged her into a stall, and shoved her head into the toilet with her foot. The girl silently prayed to God, but nothing changed. During class, she noticed the prank on her chair and hesitated to sit, but the teacher on the podium impatiently urged her. Left with no choice, she had to sit down even though the chair was covered in glue. Despite her skirt getting soaked, no one in the class showed her any sympathy. After school, taking care of the stray cats by the roadside became the happiest moment of the girl's day. She didn't even have time to cry before her family texted her, demanding that she hurry back home. However, as she said goodbye to the stray cats, she was unaware that her only emotional solace had been discovered by others. When she got home, the dinner table was filled with her father's endless praise for her brother. She quietly ate her meal, not daring to say a word. Finally, when it was time to sleep, her older brother would cruelly beat her again. Her hands were tied with ribbons, and even though vomit had soaked the bed sheets, her brother showed no intention of stopping. The girl had been tortured to the point of losing all semblance of her former self. Yet, her brother only became more excited, climbing onto the bed and wrapping his hands around her neck. He tightened his grip until the girl's face twisted in pain, only releasing her at the last possible moment before she lost her breath entirely. That very night, as the pale glow of her computer screen lit up the room, the wheels of the girl's fate began to turn. She stumbled upon a website called Magical Girl. Watching the horrifying scenes on the screen, the timid girl immediately turned off the movie. Little did she know that she had already become a magical girl. The next day, a heart-shaped gun and an envelope appeared in her shoe locker. The letter assured her that she no longer needed to fear anyone. Initially, the girl was skeptical and unlucky. But later, when an older delinquent pinned her to the ground and attempted to assault her, she pulled out the white, heart-shaped gun. At a nearby train station, a crowd suddenly gathered due to an accident. Those very delinquents were the victims of the mishap. The next day, the news spread throughout the school and the teachers demanded all students observe a moment of silence for the deceased. Overwhelmed with fear, the girl closed her eyes, trying to escape the crushing guilt, but a pair of eyes had already locked onto her. One of the delinquent's closest friends, a red-haired boy, shoved the girl against the wall. He was convinced that she was the one responsible for their deaths. However, even the girl herself wasn't entirely certain. The boy expected the girl to take responsibility for his friends' deaths, but before anything could happen, a sudden force froze him in place. Time itself seemed to halt, and the source of this power was revealed to be a blonde-haired girl. She couldn't bear to stand by any longer, so she activated her time-stopping ability. Just like that. With that, Asahi was saved by her classmate, Nomura. She followed Nomura out into the streets only to realize that everyone around them was frozen in place. The reason she could still move was that Nomura had set a special enchantment on her magical equipment, granting them immunity through the whitelist bullet. This meant they could now freely harm others without consequence. However, this ability came with a major drawback. It had severe side effects on the body with each use. Overusing it could lead to physical collapse and even death. Additionally, if the magical markings on their hands were completely consumed, they too would die. It was only then that Asahi understood why she had been bleeding before. She also learned that the world was filled with other magical girls, each possessing bizarre and unique abilities. These girls had all been selected by the Magical Girl site after enduring immense suffering or being deemed blamelessly invisible by society. After Nomura restored time to normal, the red-haired girl suddenly spat blood, but she didn't die. Instead, she was rushed to the hospital, where doctors assured her she would recover with proper treatment. Still, she couldn't comprehend why things had turned out this way. She had no memory of the events that transpired during the frozen moment in time. but she vowed to find another opportunity to seek revenge. As she was leaving her hospital room, she overheard a familiar voice. Moving closer, she realized it was none other than Asahi and Nomura. They were talking about something related to magical girls. After the two left, curiosity got the better of her, and she approached the hospital room they had exited. Inside, she found two people, one lying on a hospital bed and the other standing nearby, gazing at the patient while seemingly aware of their identity.